Hello, and welcome to the truth behind.
The truth.
Yes, indeed. It is another exciting evening here in our wonderful part of LA and Atlanta, and then wherever you're tuning in from. So we're so glad to have you guys join us. Got my good friend and engineer and VP of operations and showrunner and that guy is chiming in with us this evening. Sandy's not out. Sandy's on the road, so he's performing in his other gig this evening or the next 2 weeks, right? Yeah, and Darnell, he sent a good word of energy to his direction because his mom was in the hospital, so she's doing okay. So he is out attending to that. He may be joining us in a little bit. We're not actually sure at this point. He was going to try. I think he did have issues with Wi-Fi. Where he was, so he will do his best to get on board. All right, Charles, how you doing?
I'm good. Just trying to get through the days. It's the beginning of the year. You know how everybody's trying to get these resolutions. I don't make resolutions. I feel like if something has to be done, make it happen. You don't have to wait till the first of the year and all this other nonsense. Hey, get it done. As Nike says, just do it.
Right. I like to say, I like to refer to it as New Year's commitments. You know what I mean? And because I think when you say New Year's commitment, you're more apt to stick to it, versus in that resolution deal, because normally what happens is that, well, here's the thing. We were talking about this the other day. What normally happens is that we put too much on our plate, and by doing so, it's like we have all of this stuff on the plate and we don't know necessarily where to start. Or we start trying to attack it all at one time, and then by the end of the day, we've already, said, "Oh, well, I've given up. I can't do it anymore." If you're going to create a pie for the new year for yourself, here's the thing: take it in pieces. Cut your little slice out, accomplish that, then move on to the next one, and then move on to the next one, then move on to the next one. So you won't be disappointed that you didn't get everything done, by a certain point, and be flexible with yourself, because change is hard, y'all. And the first thing you got to do is change your mind before anything happens with any commitment, So if you're not ready to change your mind, and move forward in another direction, guess what? It ain't gonna happen nowhere. You might as well just go back to doing the same thing you did last year and keep it moving, So, but if you're willing to make that change for yourself, then ultimately, yes, go ahead and make smaller commitments basically, and then complete those. If you're trying to lose weight, don't get on here and talk about you trying to lose 300 pounds in 1 month. You know what I'm saying?
It's not gonna work.
It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna happen. But just again, take it at small steps and move it from there. I think you'll be much happier, with the results that you're getting. Because you got to change your eating, you got to change all of the type of things. Whether you're going to be a juicer, and if you're not following Harold on what's it, Juice Man is his thing. Following his steps. I think he started with a cleanse already to get you prepared for. But you can go over to Harold's page and check that out as well. But anyway, enough said about that. Let's do our reminders. Okay, the reminders. Number one, about your mug. Okay, yeah. Get your mug. I think we did a New Year's reduced offer. $13.99. All right, for your choice of your mug, you can get it for a friend or whatever, because it gives you the opportunity to promote the truth behind the truth and remind you to also keep yourself going in the truth behind the truth.
Right.
And we'll get into tonight. Very, very vital part of your life. And also you can also participate in our giveaway. Okay, I don't want to say contest anymore. Kind of our giveaway. 5 likes, 5 shares. Okay, send them to the TTBTT show email at gmail.com. With that, we will send you a complimentary rug as well for your endeavors of spreading the good news with us. Okay, all right, we got that out of the way. And one other thing, support. Okay. Support.
That should be a natural given. If you like the content, support, subscribe.
Yes.
Just
talk
to somebody. It's just express it to somebody to watch the show. But other than that, though, hey, join the conversation.
Absolutely.
And plus comment too. I will be able to read the comments.
Right.
Even though you kind of over talk, we will read your comments.
Right. Yes.
So on that though, let's get into it.
All right.
Let's talk about it.
Definitely. All right. So your cash contributions. You forgot that part.
whatever. Hey, do whatever you need to do. Support us.
Yes.
That's all we ask is support.
Yes,
so let's get into the show because I'm ready to talk. Let's go.
Well, let's start that. What are we going to jump in?
Well, I mean, we keep harping about, we went to go see the movie. Now, The Color Purple has been going on since, the 25th of December. It opened, around Christmas Day, and it's been doing great numbers. But, it's just the simple fact of we've been reiterating and talking about it. We were discussing about the fact that, you saw the original.
Oh, yes.
And people now watching the musical and didn't understand that it was a musical.
Right.
Not the movie.
How that happened, I don't know.
I don't understand.
I don't either.
But Charles, have you seen the movie yet? Have you seen The Color Purple? You have not seen The Color Purple?
No, I haven't had a chance to check it out yet.
And okay. I mean, really, if you haven't watched it, go support it. Plus, go support the House of Clarence.
No, the Book of Clarence.
The Book of Clarence.
Yeah, started.
Go support.
Started yesterday.
Go support these movies because it's kind of I don't want to make it more of a black thing, but we need to support our projects.
Yeah,
we need to support our people. We need to support what it is that has us on film and what has us pushing forward. A lot of people have been harping on the fact that The Color Purple is not what we need to watch. Who watch remakes? Who cares about remakes?
Right.
But for this movie, I think it's more than just a remake. I think it's what they have been calling a reimagining. But the subject matter is, for a lot of people, it's too deep. It's too traumatizing. Abuse, misogyny, child trafficking, stuff that is still going on to this day. Now, if you go to the movie to not want to see it because of those things, I think you need to get in the mirror and start questioning your existence as a human being, because we all have people within our families that are going through some form of abuse, some form of craziness that represents what was going on in that movie. And I think we all need to go see something to re-enlighten or to have us think about our existence.
I'm trying to say make us more aware.
Make us more aware.
Right, what's going on.
Yeah.
So the one thing I want to say this, and I'll give my take, and then I know, Charles, you did see the original, so you can kind of speak from that.
Yeah.
Put in the comments. Okay, put in the comments if you saw the movie. Let us hear from you. Okay, while we're in it, and if we go on to another subject, please, and we'll revert. We'll go back to it and mention it again. But put it in the comments what you thought, and if you saw the original 1985 version, if you saw the Broadway play, and to give us your idea with that, or is it your first time seeing it? So we're gonna get and I'm sorry, I'm just up all over the place.
No, you're good.
So real quick, my thoughts and what I did the other day, and again, I like both, so don't get me wrong with my comments, okay? Please, I'm not saying not go see the film, all right, because it is worth going to see. However, I went back and listened to the soundtrack of the Broadway show, which I loved. Okay, I saw the Broadway show 6 times, so I think I'm a Color Purple expert. Okay, and God knows, I'm not saying the '85 version. Okay, so but what I kind of got from it, going back and listening to the soundtrack of the Broadway show, it interrupts certain things within you because of the order in which the music is set up, and you understand the flow of it. Honestly, I would have liked to seen them stick more to what happened in the play. Okay, it's still to me the play really told the story in its depth, because that was the first time that they ever really explored Celie and Suge's relationship. Because of course, the 1985 version, it was just like that quick moment, and they moved on, and you knew if you knew, but you really didn't get to know what you thought you knew. It was rushed. From the movie. It was rushed. It was really rushed. So for that one, a part of it, the music is just so good to The Color Purple. Not saying this new version wasn't, but I think that if they would have incorporated more of the original Broadway music, I think it would have told this story even better. Yeah. From the aspect, because you would have gotten a visual of what actually was happening at that point. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time dissecting it, because as an actor, and Charles and I are producers and directors and all that, and writers. Hang on.
But do you think it was the budget though? Because the budget itself. See, the thing about it is, like we talked about it, when they give these people the money to make these films, do they give them enough to go into the in depth into certain things? Because we don't know how much they. No, okay, we didn't go into too much. We didn't research this portion, but there is probably out there how much Warner Brothers did give Blitz enough, the money to make. But did he have enough to keep that storyline going? Did he have to rush it to stay under budget?
Well,
that's a situation, and plus doing a musical is the most expensive thing to make on a budget.
Right.
And I'm just saying, probably because of the money they gave him, probably Warner, he didn't have that much time.
Right.
To just put in a whole storyline.
Well,
what we know now.
I think that from my understanding, some of the behind stuff, this was like a 3-year planning process.
Well, yeah,
to get it to the point where they got it. I can't speak from the fact of what they what type of budget they had to deliver it. But one of our next favorite movies, that was also a reimagining of a musical, which was West Side Story.
West Side Story, yeah.
Okay, so you kind of thought that with Steven Spielberg being connected to this version of The Color Purple, that you would still have some of those other nuances, because the original you still have key points about the original movie that stuck in you, because it means that even to the point where the Mr. treated Celie, and and there are different scenes that really stuck out, in the course of the movie. But what we saw in West Side Story was just phenomenal. Because he took West Side Story, like almost 3 hours. The original, like 2.5, almost 3 hours. The original, but he condensed that to 2.5 hours. So he adjusted it to make it work. Within the time frame that he did.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, and then I'm gonna shut up and let Charles. But I'm thinking that if Blitz probably would have maybe listened to Steven a little bit more, in terms of the direction, or hey, if Steven would have directed, Steven would have directed it, what I'm saying? I'm just saying, maybe it would have come up with that, and knowing that he had the heart of the original, and then being able that he saw the musical several times. So I don't know. Anyway, Charles, go ahead and give your point on that.
I think that one of the things we forget, even though it's entertainment, is it's called show business.
Yes.
The purpose of this is to make money and to keep as much money as possible. So there's also I think it's hierarchy. Who owns the rights to the show as a whole? Who has say so as far as executive producers? And it has to be a collaboration of minds. And the one thing we got to understand too is someone may feel something is needed and some may feel it isn't. So we always compromise. What's going to keep the show moving? So I was watching a show today on Hulu, and I noticed that I was looking at this show and I kept saying, "Man, something's missing." But they were talking as the people were moving into the scene, but it was the dialogue that's going to happen later, because it's like they had to mess it up, get you in there, let you know what they're talking about, and get it in there. Of course, as a director and a writer, I saw that, but it was just the fact that there are moments you have to make it fit. It may not be pretty, but it has to work and get the show done. And that's the one thing I learned when I was writing for these television shows. They go, "Hey, it's not a matter of what you like. It's we got to get the job done by the deadline and get it out." That, well, I love this scene. I like to take. It's not that much time. Get it done. Keep it moving. And a lot of folks kind of, and I understand as a customer, you want to get what you want, but that doesn't always happen that way. It just has to work the way they need it.
Fun fact, I just read this not too long ago, and Charles, this just because you said that, it just came to me. Halle Berry, when she produced introducing Dorothy Dandridge for HBO, the key scene where she's going into on the red carpet to the Oscars, when Dorothy Dandridge was nominated for Carmen Jones in 54. There's that moment where she's about to walk down the red carpet and she sees her sister Vivian. That was about to be, she didn't have enough money to make that scene. That was out of the budget. So she had to take money out of her own pocket to pay for that scene. And when the movie came out and it made as much money as it did, they reimbursed her that money back. So it goes back. It is show business. It, at the end of the day, if you want it, you'll put your money out. I think honestly, when it boils down to it, and they've been talking about Taraji's situation with her money and with all this stuff with the actors and actresses of, about the pay inequalities and all this stuff. And it goes hand in hand too with that, because you can't walk onto, and this is just me because I might say this wrong, but forgive me if I say it wrong. But some things you got to take at least with a grain of salt and say, well, probably with this film, you was not probably going to get the money that you really wanted because of the budget.
Okay.
And it's just it goes. I think that just what it is. It's just the budget. I mean, unless if they really wanted Taraji or wanted the actors, they would have paid them as much as they would have wanted them. But I think because of the movie and the money that they flushed out for, which I think honestly wasn't even enough. It wasn't enough. But I think it's just the fact that it is what it is. It's show business.
Right. So a couple of quick points with this real quick. So let's isolate Taraji just for a second. And then we run the break and pick this back up. So one thing has happened is that Taraji's discomfort for what has happened has flooded into what has become The Color Purple. Taraji's discord with the industry has nothing to do with The Color Purple. I'm just saying in general, okay?
Most definitely.
And there was a huge mistake, and she kind of went back and corrected that in days after, because I know people that didn't go see The Color Purple because they thought that Taraji was, being, sidekick for what had happened. Understanding that during the conversation of the interviews that she had, and I think this one came up with Gail, about the pay of the industry is far different than what she accepted to play Sugar Avery in the character in this film. Okay, so her dislike, or that's not the word I'm looking for, but anyway, her problem with the industry in that aspect was for things that she had already done. You're going back to way before that. What she didn't make, and her and Terrence Howard together on Empire, what they did make. Now, here's the thing. Most of you guys are not actors, okay? Most of you don't have agents. Most of you guys don't have managers. Typically, mine is in and out. Charles has one, the case would be. But those agents or your casting agent, the ones that get you the gig, they all got to get paid. And it's understandable they get. Majority of the time, they get your agent gets 10% of whatever you book. Okay, so if you book a film that you're going to get paid $100,000, she's going to get 10% of that automatically all the time. If you have a manager, depends on the negotiation you have with your manager. It's going to be between 15 and 20% of what it is. Okay, because here's the thing: your manager, typically, what happens with that is that they're the ones in front of you promoting you. Okay, so they're supposed to be investing their money to promote you, along with who is ever producing you. Okay, that's the key that I'm talking about. And then they make the money back after you have booked the gig. Okay, so that's how that works. I mean, it's too much to get into, but that is a part of the business end of it. In working it. So those of you that have been feeling bad about Taraji and whatever, it's not The Color Purple, guys. Okay, at the end of the day, and those you guys have said, oh, it's a beef between her and Oprah. You look at the body language. She was turned this way and they were turned this way. You overanalyze it and you really don't know what you're talking about. Okay,
and what if it is? It's none of our business.
Well, true.
I mean, to be honest with you, it's been put out there on a platform, but what if? We don't know, but if it is, you got lawyers for that.
Absolutely.
So
hold your point. You can bring back. We got to go to break. Okay, real quick. We'll pick this up for just a couple more conversations. We got to go into some deep stuff you want to talk about tonight. All right. So we're going for a quick break, and we will be right back with more. All right, and we are back, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into The Truth Behind the Truth. Want to remind you, get your mug. Okay, I'm saying it softly. Go get your mug. Okay, okay. Go get your mug. It's only $13.99. Okay, I'm whispering it in your ear. Okay, go get your mug. $13.99. Send an email to ttbttshow@gmail.com. All right, $13.99. All right, now I can talk louder, and I was whispering in your ear, so you know what I was talking about. Anyway, real quick, back to what we're discussing about the industry, basically, and whether the Color Purple kind of ties into that as well. So, if you're in the industry, okay, and you're an actor, coming actor, already existing working actor, make sure you read your contracts. I think we've said it on the show.
Truth behind the truth.
Please read your contract, so you know exactly what's going on. With it. But again, to everyone that has been a part of that film, I think kudos for the jobs that were done.
Yes.
Remarkable. I really love and was left talking about Taraji. I love what she did with Sergey Avery. I think that wherever she pulled from the Margaret Avery version of of that, and probably what she watched from the play, she did very well. Very well. I really enjoyed that. Of course, Danielle Brooks, is again the outside to talk about individual, from it, possibly will win. Kudos, possibly win. She did. Possibly may win an award for that. And of course, Fantasia, she pulled that CD back. Okay, and we will see what happens in terms of that, for our award. But everybody, the whole cast is great. Everybody did it. When Colman Domingo, oh my gosh, just phenomenal.
He played the heck out of it.
Yes, he did. He really did. And coming off the heels of Rustin, by Rustin film. If you haven't seen that with Colman Domingo, you need to go to Netflix and see it. It's produced by our wonderful, still existing president to me, but it was produced by President Obama. Okay, because y'all keep saying President. Whatever that other guy name, but his production company, him and Michelle's production company, so really good thing with that.
But speaking of Rustin, y'all know there's a situation with Jonathan Majors using Coretta Scott's King.
Oh God!
Now let me ask y'all a question, and this is my thing. Why are they making a big deal out of this situation about him?
I'm sorry,
making his ex. Telling his ex to be, Coretta Scott King. Now, I understand the situation at hand. Like, to be honest with you, with the situation where it was around a case of abuse. But the fact of him using Coretta Scott King as the example of what he felt like his girlfriend or his
that wasn't even about the abuse. The problem with that is we get too caught up in race baiting. Is basically what it is. When
can you say that?
It's just race baiting, because why should Michelle Obama and Coretta Scott King only be for black people? They're a good character, moral standard, intelligent.
Thank you.
Anybody can be that. It can't just be black people. It's going to be, if you want your man to be an outstanding gentleman and this and that, there's a white man out there that you can pick, or an Italian man, or Asian man. It probably has those same substance in their personality, and their soul, the spirit. So why do we can only hold black powerful women to black people? They can be them.
Right.
There's a standard. Exactly. These people are good people, and we should always salute them and praise them in the efforts and the energy they put forth to this country. And they are great standard barriers for everybody in this country: black, white, red, green, yellow, orange.
Absolutely.
This is how that works.
Well,
all this other stuff is just
so I mean, so true, Charles, so true. So the gasoline to the situation was caused by Bernice. Okay, at the end of the day, okay. The gasoline. He ignited a nice fire that was in. I'm gonna put the paint this way. All right, new movie, y'all. He painted a nice fire. Okay, I mean, and because he was expressing, how he would like to see whomever is a part of his life in that capacity. Now, who's he dating right now? What's his name? Megan Good. So let's hope that Megan Good, fits the bill, of the Coretta Scott King. Bear in mind about what you just said, Charles. Okay. Now we're not getting into the deep part of what happened between him and his former. Okay. It ain't about color at the end of the day. And then the gasoline, I think that what's her name? Bernice, she probably went to Chevron, no pun intended. Okay. It filled up her 5-gallon can. Okay. and went to pouring, because it was unnecessary. It was absolutely unnecessary to do that and to put it in a racial bearing, because there are our loving Caucasian sisters that can act and do just like a Coretta Scott King, because they can love their man or whatever exactly the same way. All right. Yeah. It don't matter about the love, like you said, Charles. At the end of the day, it does not. we have a habit of doing that. And unfortunately, nowadays, it is cycling through the African American community because we're the ones that typically love everybody. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, without reason. But y'all need to take a break. African American folk, take a break. Okay. Love on everybody. Like Charles said, love on everybody. Okay. Go ahead.
Well, my thing is, I just didn't understand why it was a big ordeal, but I understood that the fact that why I understand from Black women who heard that message. Why would you even want to compare a white woman to Coretta Scott King?
That's what they said.
That was the sentiment that was going around. Why a white woman? Why now that you got this Black woman to help, save you from your situation? Why would you even want to call a white woman? And my thing is, I feel like at the end of the day, the whole entire story was so toxic in a way. Jonathan Majors, God bless him, because to be honest with you, now that he's going through his own little fire, I'm hoping and praying that he gets some form of therapy, number one. And I hope, we all know public opinion is not going to give him a break, and especially the mainstream. You know what I mean by mainstream. They're not going to give him a break because he already got a warning sign over his name.
Right.
But the fact is, I just hope that he go get the peace and the therapy that he needs, and then just come on back.
Right.
Little by little, just come back, but get some help.
Right.
And for those who have issues of, and I don't even want to say that he did what he did, because to be honest with you, he wasn't. They didn't throw the book on him on abuse. It was inciting abuse, wasn't it?
Right.
Inciting the abuse? Was it what was it, Charles?
No, it was recklessness. It was saying that he didn't have to, but he did it. It was like, you didn't have to do that, but you did it. And since you did it, we're going to spank you a little bit. And it's not like he carries a deep sense in it. Yeah, and he's only being punished because he's in the limelight. If he wasn't in the limelight, nobody would even care about it. Because people get away with this every day with 20 hours of what they call it, service. So,
community
the
service.
thing about it is he stood out. Yeah, he stood out. And and I hate to say it this way, but because it was a Black man, a white woman, it made such a great stink to everybody. It had to be talked about. Can't let that Black man do it. And he ran from her. So how do you run from somebody that can get convicted of assault when you try to get the hell away from her?
I don't understand the part whether you didn't see the video of him run. Okay, because when I saw the video, I was like, hey, there's nothing left to to be said about it. At the end of the day, the thing that and we're going to move on. The thing that I'm very sorrowful for him is that all of the deals that pull back from him. Okay, at the end of the day, and I really think that is so completely unfair of Disney, and I think there was another one that he just lost as well. If you dissect everything that went on inside of Disney that didn't necessarily hit the media level, okay, and you have employed people that have had worse incidents, worse incidents than a situation like this, and to pull him from his Marvel contract, or whatever the case was, I just think that was completely unfair. Yes, you could have, maybe a little slapped him on the hand, but the slap it on the hand has to come from the court, not from you.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So I think that you've messed up. I'm gonna put it this way, Disney, you messed up on a brilliance that somebody could have been the one that might have been the one that was able to replace Chad, okay, and I love Chadwick Boseman dearly, okay, but there has to be somebody that's rising up, in the ranks of everyone to not replace, but you can put alongside it. I think that you made a mistake, Disney and Marvel, for not allowing Jonathan Majors to to press in the way that he needed to, and hey, just tell him, look, we can't have this. Hey, give him warnings, whatever, but don't take his contract from him. Hopefully, maybe
it's a, how do we put it? It's a thin line. And the problem is, it's always been, we have to do above and beyond to be considered even in the picture. Everyone else can just float in there, half-ass, drunk, drug addict, whatever, and get their way. But we have to be above and beyond. Obama couldn't talk to Reverend Wright because he had, actually, it wasn't his words. He used other people's words, some white politicians' words about the chickens coming home to roost. But he got crucified for it. So Obama had to separate himself from it. Trump can hang out with the Nazis, the white supremacists, all these other people, and it's like, oh, he can grab women's vaginas, and all we can say is, well, that's just locker talk. He can force kisses on women, and it's like, well, it's not a problem. But if you're a minority, you need to be above and beyond reproach. You can't even fart without saying excuse me. And it better be like, pew. It better not be loud.
Or wear beige.
Or go at base, or show your arms when you go to a function like Michelle did.
Right.
Come on, dude. It's all, we're always being held to this higher standard when it's not necessary. We're all human.
Right.
We all have our quirks. And Jonathan Majors, the thing about him is he's a little different. We know as artists that artists always have a little twang with them, something that separates them from everyone else. And people criticize him about the way he dressed, the way he acts. This brother's just being him. And you can't be anyone but yourself. When you're authentic, that's all you can do.
You know, unfortunately, child, and to your point, you know, about the criticism, see, his criticism came from us. Because, you know, when the Ebony Page came out, you know, and then they were saying that, oh my gosh, he's losing his masculinity, he's going in the other direction, he's potentially turning gay, you know, and all these other type of things. So we didn't necessarily, and I'm not we here, but you know, we as in general as a community did not set the precedence very well for what was going on in the public. So why would you even be upset that he lost the contract? Why would you even be upset that he was with who he was with? And probably why are you even upset that he's upset with he's with Making Good? You know, because you're gonna find I ain't gonna punch out women, but you're gonna find something wrong with that too. But anyway, social media is a problem, and it's a huge problem. I mean, a very huge problem. I want to take a little shift real quick and kind of go into, and we all here love the religious conversations, you know. And I know I sent out some things, you know, on our feeds, you know, about that. And one thing that I really want to go in, Christians, yes, I'm coming right at you. I'm a Christian. I'm a believer. I'm a Holy Ghost filled, fire baptized. Every one of the accolades that you want to throw out there, I've experienced every one of them. So I talk from a point of strength. Okay, he talks from a point of strength. Charles speaks from a point of strength. We have all had that background. Okay, we have taken the position to evolve. Okay, you all could keep contending and keep saying that God never changes. His word is still the same, and he won't do this, and he won't allow that because his word says it. Okay, well, you don't read the word properly. Okay, because you're stuck. Okay, you're stuck in a place of non-evolution. Okay, I'm going to say it very clearly because I can get really deep into this, okay? The word does declare that man lives out of the proceeding word. What does proceeding mean? Moving, going forward, okay, of God. So if there is not any word being spoke, okay, you may not like the word. You may not like what it's inviting in a place to the kingdom. You may not like who the word is speaking to. It may go against your grain. It may be a transgender. It may be a drag queen. It may be a gay person. It may be an illicit person. It may be a rapist. Okay, and the list going. It could be a hoe. Okay, it could be a girl in the club. Okay, or it could be you in the club. Okay, it could be you smoking marijuana. It could be you drinking. It could be any one of those things. Okay, but guess what? The proceeding word, okay, is finding where and if you need correction. Okay, you as a person don't need to offer the correction. If the Holy Spirit, I'm gonna say the Holy Spirit, okay, has offered you correction, or if needed be correction and brought it to you, he is able to do it for anybody else if they need the correction. So get up out of people's lives, okay, let them have their experience that they have in this human walk. And whatever needs to be corrected, God will do it for them and not you.
So what's the backstory to this? What's going on?
So the backstory is that all of this propaganda continuously comes up on feeds. Okay, I've seen like 5 today alone. Okay, there was this woman, and you know me, certain ones I will go out there and just kind of let you have it. There was this Bishop, what's her name? I can't think of her name. There was a post that went up about Bishop. She's wonderful, very articulate, Bishop lady, and she was just mentioning about the harmony that we need to have. I'm kind of bringing it in that sense, among everybody being accepted, everybody under God, everybody in the whole things that Bishop Pearson left. So this woman puts on the Instagram, oh, this, that, and third, this, that, and third, this, that. You got to believe in hell, because if people ain't doing this, they're going to hell. They're going to hell for this, going to hell for that. I'm like, why don't you just go to hell? Okay, just take your philosophy and just go to hell with it. Okay, because that's what you're doing. You're going to hell with it. Every conversation is going to. So I'm saying to these people, where is the love? Where is the love that is supposed to be oozing from you if you're a part of this area of God? Okay, because if you're a Christian, you should be oozing in love. Your every movement should be love. Your every thought should be love. Every word that comes out of your blinking mouth should be love. Criticizing and talking about it, bringing down and comparisons and all this other, that is not love, people. Okay, the scripture says, Paul tell you that you become with the sounding brass and tingling cymbals. Okay, because if you have not love, you have nothing.
Well, since we're on that subject, on this subject matter, and you're talking about this religious perspective of, somebody's archaic beliefs.
All right. Oh, I love that. I love that. Say that for the back of the people in the back.
Beliefs. I was watching a video, and Fantasia got this song called Superpower, and it's a great song. It's a great message, uplifting. And in the comment section, there was this one comment, and she was saying, the song is based on finding the superpower within you,
yes,
as the human being, as the individual, trying to find your way out of trauma. And in the comment section, she said, well, you can't look for within yourself. You have to look towards God.
Uh-huh.
And my thing is with that, and I hear what you're saying, people tend to forget that, when God made us, he made us in his image, right?
Okay.
And when he spoke, when we speak, we create.
Okay.
We create our lives, and sometimes when we speak negative, like whatever.
That's sometimes. All the time.
Well, all the time when sometimes all the time, depending on who you are, you are creating a world of negativity.
Right.
I just feel like sometimes, and this is just me, and I don't know why, when it boils down to Christianity, we like to police somebody else's perspective on life.
Thank you.
I don't hear that from Buddhists. I don't hear that from I don't know. I don't even hear that much from Muslims or people who support Islam. I don't hear this policing.
Mm-hmm.
Only in the comment section you have Christo-fascists. I call them Christo-fascists because they are spewing out a worldview that they wish that everybody could take in and just say, this is who we are.
Mm-hmm.
We are a Christian nation. But everybody's not Christian.
Right.
Going back, it's just the fact that why police somebody's perspective? Why can't you, like you said, why can't we just live in harmony and just show love to whoever believes or don't believe?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, God is love.
Right.
Why is the love being policed on somebody else?
Okay, say that again for the
why is the love being policed?
Uh-huh.
Why can't you just at least accept and keep it moving?
Absolutely.
That's just my perspective. Charles, do you have one?
Bishop Flounders is who I was mentioning, the lady. You can go pick. I'm sorry, because her name just came to mind to me about that. I know we got to go to break. I want to hear your perspective, Charles. Let's go to break real quick, and we'll come back and hear from you in a minute. All right. hey, you know what? I'm gonna marry a white man, but. He said, so tell me about the butt. You know,
because we know you've gotten some backlash, Melinda, from your cousins.
Right.
So you're gonna be so pro-black and anti-racism, and you married a white man. So what do you say to your cousins that say that?
Yeah, okay, what Harold said, okay? I'm delicate, Harold, okay?
I mean, yes. Obviously, I think most, especially Black women, I think more so Black women than anything, if they're married to white men, they get the most black backlash. Black women are strong, we can handle it. But I think the interesting thing is, I don't know why people think who you're with defines who you are. If that's how you're living your life, then that's a you problem. That's not a me problem, because it doesn't matter. I mean, my mom will say I've been boy crazy since I was 4. Like, I've loved and had crushes on every race, every guy. It didn't matter. I was like, I just want somebody to love me, right? And it just ended up having to be a white guy.
Thank you for saying that, child. That was really good. I'm glad you pulled that clip out. That was a great show with Melinda. Actually, she's wanting to come back, so we just need to set up a time for her to come back on the show and share her perspective. She's a very powerful woman, guys. Very, very powerful. Unspoken, to a lot of people in that, but she's you can follow her. I mean, just do your Google search for Melinda Hale and pull up all of her, her social media base and all of her comments. She has a podcast on YouTube as well, so giving her shout out, as well. Thank you for that. But go ahead with your point, Charlie, in this religious perspective we were talking
about. I was raised, if you don't know, I was raised in the church, Baptist church in South Side of Chicago. My family has a history in there. My grandparents are there. My parents are there. My relatives are in that church in Chicago, a Progressive Baptist church down there on 35th and out there near the Dan Ryan. And I've always had this sense of, why do we beat up people for not believing what we believe? And why do we sit so passive when things happen? It's like when the people were killed in Louisville. We sit back, we're going to pray. We're going to say, nobody's putting forth the effort to stop these folks. No one's putting forth the effort to make new laws that will either curb or even, substantiate the mental wellness that we don't pay attention to, because it's gotten so out of hand. We throw people out there and think they can just shake it off and they'll get themselves together. But that's not how that works. As a person who suffers with mental wellness myself, I know you just can't shake it off and be like, oh, I'm great. I'll just put this over here till tomorrow and I'll pick it back up later. That's not how that works. Right. And we find ourselves so captivated in church versus getting out and helping and participating that we lose track, and then we get mad. Right. Well, they need to, or they should. Well, if they need to or they should, why aren't you doing it? Do you look in the mirror every day and say, oh, I'm good. I don't need to do nothing. I'm a critic. I can say what I want to say. No, you're participating in this world, in this journey that we're all in, and we all have to understand our roles. But we also can't deter from the rest because we don't like what's going on. And even when, I think it was in the Reconstruction, Blacks stepped up and became politicians. They got involved. They were there. True, it got swapped on them. The Republican Party switched, which the Republicans keep saying they're the party of emancipation when they weren't. Dixiecrats, all that stuff got mixed up and they swapped parties just to destroy it. But we participated so well, and we showed that we are able to participate in a manner in which enhances this country, not takes away from it, and helps make it a solid foundation for us to grow. It's only those people who don't like to see us moving and making things. It's like the comedians say, I can go to any Lowe's or Home Depot and find Mexicans all in front waiting to work. White people, why don't you enslave them? Why you come get us? They love working. Come get them. Get them up. They want to do it all. Black folks are so disenfranchised right now that they don't even believe in themselves. They will tear each other apart because they just don't have the faith or the confidence to do anything these days. Our preachers are out here doing these little naughty things, and I don't blame TD Jakes for hanging out with Puffy or any of them, because as they say, you got to be with the people in order to change them, in order to preach to them, give them the word. But we also have to be a standard bearer. You have to be what you preach. Too many of us are just preaching and holding our hands out to go home to buy another car or to get a bigger house or get a new jet. That's not what this was made about. And I tell people this every day. Even Jesus thought that religion was a very scary thing because it had too much power. The priests and the preachers had too much over them. And if he felt that way, what should we say?
Right. Absolutely.
But it goes back to what you just said. What the church is supposed to be lifting and helping people get through their issues and problems, social issues, and all that stuff. If it goes back to Martin Luther King, if it wasn't for his platform as a pastor, especially during the Montgomery bus boycott, I don't think that would have ever happened. Not only with Rosa Parks, but with this young pastor who got involved. Because at the end of the day, within the African American culture, that church was always the cornerstone. It was always the foundation. Because what could we do? Everything was so segregated. You couldn't go to the new burger place. You couldn't go to the swimming pool. You couldn't go to a fair. So where did we have all of these events? At the church. That was the only place we could really dress up and go do what we need to do. But it has now become a gatekeeping culture too as well. Cat Williams even talked about this along in the Shannon Sharpe interview about gatekeeping, and I think this is what really has ruined the culture. And I think about I kind of put that on equal level with affirmative action. And let me try to relate it to that. I love the guy who died. He used to work for Anna Wintour, Vogue. Andre Talley. And I'm gonna relate this to him. For somebody who was the only Black person in the room, you would think he would have went over and grabbed or mentored a young African American who was also doing the same thing to say, "Come with me. Let me give you a chance." He didn't do it. And you know what happened? He was in that room by himself, took all those hits, and you know what happened? Those same people who he thought were good friends, they evicted him out of his house, and he didn't make that much amount of money from Anna Wintour. So he got broke, looking crazy all by himself, when he could have grabbed somebody along the way and said, "Let me help you." But we get to a point where, especially within our community, within our families, truth behind the truth, you might know of a job that has an opening. And you know what you would tell me? Cuz, let me go get that job. You know there's an opening on I don't know if I should go get I should help you with that job because I ain't trying to ruin my chances on that in this situation on my job. We have people within our communities that like to gatekeep because that keeps them in some form of position. And the church is that way. The Black church has become a gatekeeping culture because at the end of the day, it's now become so monetary in a way that you cannot. There's no connection. There is no community connection. It's all about gays can't come here, women can't dress like this. As a man, you need to be like this. As a woman, you should be like this. It's just all of this negativity. There is nothing. It is nonsense, and it's not really helping anybody get through this crazy life that we're having. Let's just say this: we're about to go into a new phase right now. We're on the verge of an election where we don't even know where this election is going to take us. That's true. And so these are some scary times right now. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. So just kind of piggybacking off what both of you had said. I keep hearing radical. Okay, I keep hearing radical. Now, see, radical can be for you, and radical can be against you. Okay, so to your point, Charles, and dealing with that, the things you mentioned a minute ago, we don't have anybody that is out of our assemblies that are radical to be on the forefront line. Okay, Martin Luther King was radical.
Yes, he was.
He used the platform of, let's say, the bridge or the head of Christianity to present his radicism, is that a right word? Of nonviolence in a way to gain success in the way that he did. Okay, we don't have any radical people right now.
No.
Okay, well, because if you look at the church by and large, there's nobody in that type of leadership. Okay, the leadership that comes from the assembled is, again, like I started out the conversation, trying to condemn somebody to a place that don't exist. Yes, I said it. Okay, trying to make people an enemy that is we don't talk about it, but anyway, that enemy that has been defeated. Okay, but y'all keep bringing it up like it's responsible for everything that goes on when you're responsible for it. Okay, it's called accountability and responsibility. Okay, if you find something going on, you're not being accountable, you're not being responsible. I've labeled that before on this show. Yes, that is, you want to call everything else sin, that's sin. Check that out, okay? Because if you need to do anything else involved, 10 commandments and otherwise, if you can't master the 3 in the beginning, you sure ain't mastering the 7 after the 3. All right, love, and love is the first 3. Love God, love yourself, love humanity. Master those 3, and you'll be able to handle the 7. Because you won't steal, you won't kill, you won't rob, you won't do any of those other type of things that involve in all the list that you like to bring out, and anything else that involve. Remind me of what's the name in Color Purple. What did she say at the end? What was her line? I'm just here to. What did she walk away? It was neat in her little kitchen when she was talking to Mr. the cafeteria. I mean, in the thing, she said, "Oh, I'm just here to get some respect." Danielle, yeah. So I'm just saying that for a little respect, okay? What I just said, all right? So, but again, I'm saying all this in love to everybody, okay? And I just want us to do better. You know what I'm saying? I want us to do better. Number one is humanity, and set a precedence in humanity. Because like Charles said, if you don't find yourself moving toward love in every capacity of your life, I don't know what's going to happen to you first, and then possibly to the rest of us. Because it's about us uniting together to make it happen. To your point, man, it's just so hard. It's so hard to see this initial vision that should be coming from the pulpit, or from these places. Okay, let me say this because I know I'm running my mouth too much. We don't have that connection in the realm of the Christian church, period. At any point, it's not an information source. It's a source majority of the time. I'll say majority that people walk away not feeling any better than they came in, because, like you said, it becomes a policing organization. Okay, and the police, what are the police going to do? Reprimand you for what they think that you're not doing. Okay, and you may not even be involved at all. It's always was innocent until proven guilty, and if you're guilty, you're not the one that has to forgive me.
True.
Okay, yeah. You're not the one that has to forgive me. Yeah. It may be all wrong to you, but I could have just walked out of wherever, and as soon as I walked out, I could have said, "Hey, God, forgive me for my entrance in this place," and it's done. But you gonna dwell upon the fact what you saw me coming out of, and you're gonna go tell everybody at church. You'll get them to preach about it. You'll keep making all these lists. And you never know what's in my heart or where my heart is committed to. I think that's what Beyonce said in her song, which I didn't particularly care for, but I got to bring it up. Church girl. Okay, that's what she thought. That's what she brought in, church girl. Okay, the church girl was having herself a good old time. All right, but guess what? Her heart was pure and leading toward God. But they had a backflip on that song, didn't they?
No, they were superficial with what they heard.
What they heard.
So what they heard.
They had a backflip.
Very superficial.
So, but what they were saying, and again, I didn't. That's just me. Okay, but I really took a moment. I think we did it together. Took a moment and listened to something. Oh, okay. So what she's saying is that stop judging what you think you see, and let me be. Okay, because I know what's going on within me and my rights. Okay, because I like to go dance. I may like a little drink a little bit. I may a little toke a little bit. You don't know what I'm dealing with. Number one, okay, like you said earlier, Charles. You don't know what I'm dealing with. You don't know if I've got traumas from PSTT. I may be having traumas with molestation, somebody bothering me. Yeah. But y'all would have denied that in the church. It never happens. Okay, they do. Or they want to say, well, that person's full of the devil. Really? Okay, come on. Come on. And like I said earlier before we went to break, you all keep bringing up a defeated foe. Defeated. Christ defeated everything at the cross. If you believe that, okay, he defeated him too. And if he exists in your world, then you're allowing him to exist in your world. Okay, there was your accountability. There was your responsibility. If you want to quote scripture, scripture says, resist and flee. Resist and flee. It don't need to be anything else said after that. Get out of my house. Get out of my way. Get out of not in your life, but of being a part of my life. Tell him to go. If you believe that, tell him to go at the end of the day. So, but anyway, I know I keep running. I know he gets mad when I get talking to him so much, but it's just a strong point. Go ahead and finish what you're going to say.
But no, but it goes hand in hand with what you were saying. It's just the fact that at the end of the day, people need to understand that belief. If you have faith, that is a personal belief within whatever you believe spiritually.
True.
Everybody's not going to believe in what you believe spiritually.
And we're not required to do that
because we don't know the motive. That's why I don't follow people.
Right.
I don't, even on social media, I don't follow people because I don't know your motives. You might be showing me something that is half-assed, but I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. That's why I believe in, hey, it's nice, but I'm going to keep it moving. Because if you start following and start glorifying somebody, then next thing you know, you're going to get your feelings hurt because I didn't believe you were that way. I didn't understand that you were that way. I did not know you like this and I thought you like this. You got to be careful with that.
You struck a very good point. And Charles brought up a minute ago. So this is the situation with the TD Jakes scandal. Okay.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Here's the thing, people, and our friend Larry did refer to the same thing, in his broadcast about this. But what we've become, number one, we have idolized people. Okay, we've idolized pastors and preachers and everything, and y'all put them in a position that you think that they can do nothing wrong. Okay, and they have not conquered their own personal issues. Okay, and when something happens, it's the timing in which it does happen, and it comes to the light, and y'all don't know how to handle it. Okay, you don't know how to handle it because you think the world has fallen around them, or they become the worst person that ever hit the planet. Okay, hey, what you should do is to restore Bishop Jakes, okay? Except if he is going to be hanging out with gay men, maybe he got something to say to them, okay? At the end of the day, like how Larry said, you can make like a little ping or whatever Larry would say on his show. I know I'm jumping all over this. One thing,
but it's like Jesus with the tax collectors, with the lepers, and all this stuff,
and the list goes on.
And the list goes on.
Okay. Yeah. However, here's your disclaimer. I think preachers and pastors, if you guys are allowing people to put you on that level, and you're not being transparent, and you're not being honest, okay, then you are setting yourself up for a complete exposure on something. All right. So, hey, it's nothing wrong with you being honest. If you're going through something, say, I'm going through it and I'm dealing with this. Be honest from that pulpit. You expect everybody else to be transparent coming into place, wherever it is, that they house with you. Be honest with these people. Okay. Because therefore, you being honest, you may have a little extra protection. Your congregation may cover you up, which they typically should do anyway. But that's another story. But seriously, they really should be able to cover you up, and when it comes down to situations, things of this nature or whatever.
Like the cussing pastor. Basically.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't heard from him, but
I'm the cussing Peter. So, baby, if you send me the right one, I'll say it in a heartbeat. Because the thing about it is that sometimes you got to say it that way. Sometimes you got to put a little ass behind that ass, okay, and make that point. You have to, you really do. But anyway, so it's been a great night once again. We kind of took a detour. We didn't get into politics tonight. We'll get into blacks and politics maybe next week or whatever. But I really felt like that it was a need to address what's going on, these messages that are coming out from the typically the Christian community, and this policing and hate stuff that's coming out to humanity. It's got to stop. It is sincerely, it's got to stop, because we are here to love. We've been put on this planet to love. And if you don't understand that purpose of love, then you need to check your relationship with our Creator. Okay, and understand how that love works. That's why I said earlier at the top, you remember, as we talked before, the 3 things you need to always remember. This is still our hidden message of this show and this platform: love God, love yourself, love humanity. If you are mastering those 3, not just by chance passing them by, but mastering them, you won't have a problem with anything else that's going on. Because you'll accept it from that point. All right. Guys, thank you again so much for being a part of this show tonight. The Truth Behind Truth will be here next week. I hope Darnell will be back with us next week. I'm sure Charles will be here with us. So have a great night. We will see you then. Thanks for watching The Truth Behind the Truth. Good night, guys.